Welcome to another edition of Carnivore Radio. I'm your host, Jeff Sherman, along with Dr. Eric Lopkin. Dr. Lopkin, not a huge news week so far, or period, but I do say that I do think the Democratic field is getting more interesting. We've had some dropouts. Let's talk about that first.
Yeah, I'm blanking on her name. Senator from New York.
Yeah, she's the biggest one.
Yeah, she just pulled out of the race.
Who you shake your head and just say, how did she even think that was possible?
Well, I mean, it's not surprising that she pulled out of the race. Again, given that I can't even think of her name. This is
No, pulling out Gillibrand.
Yeah, yes, Gillibrand.
Pulling out, I understand, but what made her think that she could actually be president?
Well, apparently anybody can throw their hat into the ring. I mean, her, de Blasio, there's about 5 or 6 others that still haven't polled above the margin of error.
De Blasio, he's not going to make the next debate, is he?
I sincerely doubt it. Even New Yorkers are saying they're not going to vote for him.
Yeah, I think he's actually might be a little clinically insane or troubled, whatever. So I believe, well, let's talk about Kamala Harris. You said she came on strong. Her first debate she kind of crushed it.
She did. Ironically, that's one of the things that's working against her. She went after Biden strong. The problem is that alienated her to all of the Democrats that want to return to Obama era. Well, without those Democrats, you pretty much have to rely on the wacko left that has been pulling everybody to the left. But they don't like her because of her role as a prosecutor and her record. So she sort of separated herself from everybody and left herself with no base.
Yeah, I think she had after the first debate, I mean, she broke through the crowd. We'll just leave it at that.
Yes, she did.
And I think now she's kind of, here's what I really see. I see it boiling down to Biden, to Elizabeth Warren, to Bernie Sanders, and maybe, I always screw up his name, from Ohio, I believe, Indiana, or whatever.
Yeah, Pete
Buttigieg or whatever.
Buttigieg, yes.
Yeah.
Actually, I think he's going to be the surprise. I think he's the one that's going to benefit the most out of this, because in the latest polls, Warren is also falling by the wayside.
I thought she was gaining.
No, the last polls have her falling, and basically all of the candidates have basically been aiming their guns at her, because their feeling is she's putting out all of these ideas and she has never said how she's going to pay for any of them, and she's making the rest of them look bad because she's falling into that stereotypical tax and spend Democrat.
Mm-hmm. Well, she's an opportunistic. She'll say anything, but it's not. But yes, I thought she was actually rising in the polls, but I could be wrong. I'm not saying.
Yeah, the last ones I saw, and the last articles I saw from Politico and a couple of other places have her starting to fall, and I think the big problem is you had all of these Democrats and not one of them had a solid platform. The only platform all of them had was, we're not Trump. That's not enough to galvanize the party.
This article I'm reading right now, Warren narrows Biden's lead in new poll. Yeah.
I guess she's going up and down. We'll have to see what happens after the debate.
Okay, no, that's all fine. I mean, I think you're actually right, to be honest with you. Basically, let's see, I think it has Biden at 30, Warren at 17, Sanders at 16, Harris at 6, and Buttigieg at 4. I believe I agree with the Buttigieg. I think he's going to rise. I think Booker is almost finished. and
Booker
Castro is finished.
Yeah, Booker is pretty much done. Beto O'Rourke is pretty much done.
Yes.
O'Rourke,
I think it's hysterical.
O'Rourke just came out.
Fair.
He just came out with a climate change proposal that would bankrupt the country. And even his fellow Democrats are going, the only reason for him to put this proposal out was to try to get some headlines.
Oh, yeah, no, he's not very, I mean, he's good looking. I'll give him that. If you're going to run on who's the best looking, he could maybe win, but no substance. He's a privileged kid, not particularly bright, and he was the flash in the pan. He ran against Cruz, who's not really well liked by anyone. People thought, woo, because he only lost by like 4 points or whatever. No, he's going nowhere. I think it's really, and please comment, I think it's going to be, I don't think that Biden's going to make it to the end. He's just too senile at this point. I really believe it's going to be Warren or Buttigieg.
I think Warren or Buttigieg still have a good chance. I think Bernie is going to make it through the primaries. I think he's probably going to have enough delegates to be a pain in the butt at the convention, but not enough to win. I think Biden is going to last longer than we're giving him credit for, because I think he's being propped up by the media. There was a great article in Politico actually asking the question, why is it when Trump says something that's not true, he's lying? When Biden says something that's not true, oh, he slipped, he made a mistake. So the media has been propping him up, and I don't really think they're going to stop.
No, I think you're right, but I think the proof is in the pudding. You're probably right. He might squeak it out, I think, in a debate against Trump.
In a debate, he'll be blown away. Yeah,
blown
I think
away.
that's... And I think the only reason he survived the debates so far is because there were so many candidates.
Oh, no,
I think
there's only like
when
five, he's screwed.
Yeah, when he has to go one-on-one or two-on-one with only a few candidates, he's going to fall apart.
It's not going to be good. Last week you were very cold on Trump for various good reasons, the Twitter storm. I still got to give him a 60% chance.
Yeah, I think I would definitely say his chances have come back up since then, but it goes to show that he is his own worst enemy. I don't think a Democrat is going to beat him. If he loses, it's because he beat himself.
Oh, yeah, no, if he does, yes. I just don't see Elizabeth. I just don't see it. Don't see it. I could be wrong. Don't see it. The other issue is Obama. I still say he's really PO'd because he's just not a household name anymore, because his record, there was nothing there. There's nothing there.
No, his record has been completely demolished.
Destroyed.
And quite frankly, unless Biden pulls out a miracle victory, none of the Democrats are going to revitalize his programs. So his legacy is done, and he's not taking it well, because he has come out a couple of times in the last few weeks taking pot shots at Trump. He's got a new production company, and I just saw this, it absolutely cracked me up. His production company is called Higher Ground Productions. And like every business, he applied for a trademark on the name, and the Patent and Trademark Office turned him down because there's already an ebook publisher using that name. So he's not allowed to get a trademark on that in media. Where every other business would go, okay, we've got to find a new name, Obama decided he's going to fight this, and he is going to try to use his influence to get the other company's name trademark invalidated. Now, the other company is not a political company. They just do ebooks. But Obama decided, well, how dare somebody tell him he can't have his trademark? So
Higher Ground?
Higher ground. Yeah, so instead of taking the higher ground, he's reverting to type.
Genius. Who would think that that's not taken after 20 years of the internet?
Yeah, I mean, the idea that somebody hadn't been using that. Well, no, I mean, if it had been landscaping, he still could have had the trademark. Yeah. Trademarks are fairly narrow.
Like production,
the only reason he can't use it is because there's another media company using it. If it was anybody else, it wouldn't have mattered. But instead of taking the higher ground, he's throwing a temper tantrum, trying to throw his weight around. And you're really seeing now, I know people who have met the former president. They all say the same thing. He surrounds himself with yes men. His way is the only way. He is basically reverting to type and finding out that now that he's not president and he has to follow the same rules as everybody else, they don't always work out in his favor.
No, I always thought that he had a very fragile ego. That's why he's freaking out about Trump. He was very lazy, and that was by Karl Rove. Well, not, a huge fan of whatever. Karl Rove said that that Hillary was whatever, mediocre. Obama was brilliant but lazy, and I think his presidency proved that. He never really got involved in much. Even the bailout or the recovery, he never really got into the details. He just let it happen.
He always let other people put these plans together, and I mean, if he's so brilliant, he should have seen why most of these plans weren't going to work and gotten involved and said, wait a minute, we need to fix this before we go out, roll it out.
Yeah, the $1 trillion stimulus package was pretty much.
The only thing he has ever cared about is his legacy. And the fact that his legacy is gone galls him.
Oh, no, it destroys him, especially from Trump. So I do agree with pretty much everything we've discussed today. And I think we concur that Trump, unless he does something really stupid, I think is baseline a 60% chance of winning.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much true. Again, as long as he doesn't tweet himself out of office and get in his own way, or if by some stretch of the imagination, a recession actually hits before the election, which I still don't think that's going to do.
And then most people actually, even liberal media, is saying that that's not really that much in the cards.
Yeah, I do think there's going to be a recession, but I don't think it's going to be until 2021. So,
all right, very good. Well, that concludes this edition of Carnivore Bites. We'll be back again. Thank you very much, Dr. Lopkin. Take care.
You've been listening to Carnivore Bites, part of the Exvadio Podcast Network. You can catch us every week at exvadio.com/podcasts, on the iHeartRadio app, the Apple Podcasts app, the iTunes Store, Spotify, and wherever you find podcasts. You can also catch us live every Friday at 4 on WESU FM 88.1.